I did not think this was that big of a deal, but I've seen some people talking about this, so I guess it is, which surprises me. But there's people making a big deal, or they're upset that apparently in Wonder Woman 1984, Wonder Woman will no longer be using a sword and a shield in it. When in every other cinematic appearance I think she's had so far, in all the other DC movies, she has had these things and used them. And in many of her more recent comic book appearances, Wonder Woman does, have a sword and a shield. And she's used other more like aggressive, deadlier weapons as well in different comics when she has needed them. And I'm going to talk about like the mixed, well, not everybody, some of the reasons why people may be unhappy or happy about this. But Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, or maybe it was just Gal Gadot, spoke about this in some interviews. So let's go. I'm here on Newsarama, and let's get into some of these quotes. Wonder Woman does not carry a weapon, Gadot told Cinema Blend, referring to her not carrying a weapon in Wonder Woman 1984 specifically. We had an intention to let go of the sword because there's something very aggressive with the sword. If you have a sword, it means you need to use it. So we wanted to give that up. And we didn't feel that the shield was necessary either. She's a goddess. She can fight. She's super strong and she has the skills. So no, she has the gauntlets. She has the lasso. She has her tiara, and that's about it. And let's see. Oh, I guess it's just Gal Gadot who said something. Or at least she's the only one whose quotes they used in this article. I thought I saw somewhere Patty Jenkins talked about it, but I guess she didn't. So what does this mean? Well, because as she said here, and as all of us know, a sword, the iconography, like the only reason you have a sword really is if you want to slice and kill people in real life, right? That's the only reason anybody would carry a sword into battle, like a real battle, not like some play fighting thing. So if she isn't having that, does this mean that, we're going to see a kinder, gentler Wonder Woman in her sequel, right? I mean, there's already been stuff online that this movie is supposed to be, I guess, lighter and more fun and brighter than the first Wonder Woman or in many of the DC movies in the past, which upset some people who like, the darker, edgier, more grittier, bloodier DC. And, they don't like more recent DC movies pivoting away from that. And there's other people who are happy because they like, the new direction of DC. And a lot of comic book fans who've read Wonder Woman didn't really start using a shield and a sword in comic books until relatively recent in her history. For several years before then, she never had that. She never needed it. She just had, as this quote said, her gauntlets and her lasso and her superpowers, and that was all she needed. I mean, every now and then she might use something, but that was rare. Most of the time, just her gauntlets, her lasso, and herself was the only thing Wonder Woman needed in fights. So a lot of people who've been reading Wonder Woman comic books for decades, who feel like they know the real Wonder Woman, are totally fine with her not having the sword and the shield in the movie. Me, I don't mind it either. I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I see Wonder Woman at this point in the comics. I come from the comics. Like, I read the comics and know a lot of these characters there before I see them in movies and TV. So the way I see Wonder Woman is she uses what she needs to use. Like, she doesn't need to use a sword and a shield unless she feels it's necessary. Then she'll go back home or to Paradise Island and get it. But, as I said, there have been many appearances and Wonder Woman has had no problem beating people up with just, herself and her gauntlets and her lasso. Only in the last, 10 or 15 years, I guess 20 now, of more recent years of reinforcement has the more warrior, aggressive, angrier Wonder Woman been something that's been permeating in pop culture, right? DC in the last 20 years or so, they've wanted to make a conscious effort to make a lot of their characters and their storylines darker and edgier and stuff. Which is why, you've been seeing, more recent interpretations of Wonder Woman where she's more aggressive, where she's carrying, traditional killing weapons, at least the sword, and a shield, when if you were to read some of the older comics, she never had any of those things. Not usually. So at this point, if you were to try to make it make sense as to why sometimes, sometimes she doesn't have these tools and weapons and sometimes she does, I see it as like she only uses that stuff if she feels she needs it. So I think overall, if Wonder Woman 1984 is a good movie, nobody's going to care whether or not Wonder Woman has a sword or a shield or not. They're just going to enjoy the movie. You know, Wonder Woman is not the Punisher. She's not Conan. She doesn't need a sword or an axe or a shield to do her business, so it doesn't bother me. And you know, if you're concerned about, does this mean that we're not going to see any more dark DC movies? If you like dark DC movies, I don't think you have to worry about that because we haven't seen the last of dark DC. I mean, Joker made $1 billion and it was very dark, so of course they're going to be doing more of that. Birds of Prey is rated R. We saw those reports that Ezra Miller didn't want to do The Flash unless they made it a bit serious, more serious and dark, which is why there was a fight between him and WB and the other directors they had. So, you know, the dark DC, in my opinion, it's not gone. So don't look at Wonder Woman without a sword and a shield as something to scare you, if that's your concern. Because, you know, I think what this means is DC's just going to be mixing it up. Some of their movies are going to be darker and some are going to be lighter. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.